Good evening. How is everybody? Welcome to Tuesday, guys. It's good to see you, and it's good to be seen by you. I hope you're doing great. I just, right off the top of my dome here, I want to do something. I want to give a shout out to the Gen X Geek. He's a little poorly right now. He's got a bit of an injury. So we give a shout out to you, Gen X Geek, and we hope that you feel better very soon, brother or sister, whichever it is. Be on the mend and be well, and stick around for more fun. Did anybody notice anything strange happening on the internet today, particularly to do with this YouTube channel? It got kind of busy. I released a couple of videos, one after I got done playing first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons last night, which is not live streamed, by the way. Tonight's is live streamed. Last night's was not, because I had heard some news about this whole ongoing and spreading, I should point out, spreading tire fire that Wizards of the Coast has created. And then that got some traction. If I can keep going with a tire analogy, that got some traction. You folks seemed very interested in it. And I want to thank deeply. I am moved. Like, I got choked up when I saw that we had rocketed up past 2,000 subscriptions on this channel. For my little tiny paper thin, molecule thin, glue-on thin, like imagine a sheet that is just made out of glue-on particles, thin section of the internet compared to the whole big wide world out there. To wake up this morning and see that I had blown up by 30 or 40 subs was phenomenal. Then, right as I had woken up, I saw something else interesting on Twitter. And I said, after I drive my wife to work, I'm going to come home and I'm going to make another video just expressing my feelings about this. And I did. And I thought the one from the previous night was going to surpass it. And guys, I promise I'm not just here to talk about my numbers and my SEO. I promise. But then I saw that one explode, and it's gotten 40,000 views and has pulled in like 400 additional subs. So we are now at the good God, y'all, amount. Let me see here. And I'm not doing this to break my arm, patting myself on the back. I'm doing this to thank you guys, and I want to give a proper thank you to you guys. But we're currently at 2,067 subscriptions on the channel. We were at 1,000 with some change last night. Now we're at 2,067. So remember when I said if I got 10,000 subs on the channel, that I would have a real like live convention. Basically, I will have the live GWOC Great Underground Overland Gaming Convention. I made that as what I thought was a hollow threat, because surely to God, I'm never going to reach 10,000 subs. And in the space of a couple of hours, it's 2,500. If it kept going like that, and I don't think it would, but if it did, I will delete your comment, Taka. I am serious. If it did, I would I would have to make arrangements for that in a couple of months. But I think things will cool down as we get a clearer picture of what Wizards of the Coast is doing. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. We're not going to find out today, because guess who didn't have a live stream on Twitch today? I was all geared up. I told my wife, she's even got some ancillary interest in the perfidy that Wizards of the Coast has engaged in. I said, we're going to listen to the Wizards of the Coast live stream on Twitch and find out exactly what is going on out there. 2 weeks running. Two weeks running. They have slunk away into the afternoon. Now, allegedly, they are doing another one the day after tomorrow at 3 o'clock to 3:45. To quote the man, well, we'll just see about that. There's your ASMR G-Man from Half-Life. We'll see about that. Also, Mr. Freeman, I'm going to scratch your scalp. My apologies to headphone listeners. Anyone who just ran off the road. But anyway, so yeah, we're hearing nothing again from Wizards of the Coast. It's radio silence. They want to press ahead with this. They want to deauthorize OGL 1.0A. They have made multiple sweetheart deals with people, or they've tried to make multiple sweetheart deals. And this started at the end of last year. So anytime between September and the end of December, the 1st of September and the end of December, which would be Q4, they have been up to these shenanigans. They have been planning this. They didn't expect they didn't expect a blow up like this. Yes, Smoking Pots, there will be a live game. We are live streaming first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons tonight at 9 o'clock. That is happening. By the way, I have forgotten to do all the things to push all the buttons just because I'm so overwhelmed. So here, and if you're just coming by, and there's a really good chance you're just stopping by just because the SEO pushed you here. Please click the subscribe button, click the bell icon for notifications, leave a comment under the video telling us what you like, and give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down and tell us what you don't like. So yeah, we have a live game tonight. We have live Let's Play of Gamma World on Friday night. Wednesday night, we do not. Kyle will be in the house, and we're going to talk about gaming topics that take Kyle's fancy. Kyle is my Antipodean co-host from Down Under, so it will be fun to have him in the house again. You guys probably haven't met him. Hey, there's Dungeon Minister. By the way, another shout out. Dungeon Minister runs a YouTube channel. Please go throw him a sub. He has got some fantastic basic Dungeons and Dragons stuff on his channel. But anyway, yeah, you can see down there. You can support us on Subscribestar. You can support us on Patreon. We've got good stuff coming at the end of January for our Subscribestar and our Patreon patrons of certain ranks. You can buy us a coffee. Just super chats are open. You can do that. You can do whatever you want to support the channel, however you want, if that's what you want to do. But subscribing and clicking the bell for notifications is really, really awesome. And so many of you have done that, and I appreciate that in light of this massive debacle. So let's move on and go back to talking about the things here. First of all, if you're new to the channel, and a bunch of you are, let me tell you, the primary focus around these parts, this is not a green screen, okay? And these are not cardboard, and these are not in poly bags, and this stuff up here, which you can't see. Oh, I gotta hide Smoking Pots comment there. Sorry, Smoking Pots, but I hope that answered your answer. All this stuff down here, these, well, I mean, This is an art book from my buddy Regis, but they're not props. Thank you, Radis138. I appreciate it. Longshot, good to see you. John Gus has a question. Please scroll back. Let me scroll back a little bit, John Gus, to see if I can grab your question. It might have been eaten. Thank you, Ronnie Hansen. I appreciate that. Doesn't the transformation into a video game with AI undermine WotC's position on the OGL? I'm not an IP attorney, but you know what? I will, John, if you're on our Discord, shoot me that question on our Discord. I'm going to try and get a law brain in here. And that, by the way, I think that's what they're actually called. Like if you're driving around and you see an ad on a billboard or on a bus, call 188-INJURY and talk to our law brain. You go to school to become a law brain, an ordained law brain, I think is what they're called. We're going to try and get one on the show to talk about this very, very, very soon. But to continue, John, I wish I can answer your question better than that. It throbs with law. I think that's like the old definition from like England where they invented law. Law did not exist until it was invented in England in 1666. Anyway, so yeah, we primarily talk about classic Dungeons and Dragons around these parts, but also other classic role-playing games. And by classic, I mean stuff from the 70s and 80s and even the 90s. I'm like that one FM station that your father listens to. Hang on, this is a good song. This is like a brand new song. You guys like this? And you're like, Dad, that's Cult of Personality by Living Colour. It's 44 years old, Dad, please. But that's our primary thrust. So why do I care about what Wizards is doing with the OGL? Should I not be dancing around the flames of the slowly collapsing WotC fortress? And the answer is yes, I should. But, and this is important, very clever people, far smarter than me, I know some of them, so I know that's true, have made way for classic Dungeons and Dragons to be brought under the umbrella of the OGL. If Wizards of the Coast manages to dispense with the OGL, the ability of people to create things for classic Dungeons and Dragons legally with recourse goes away. And by the way, those creators include me. I have things for sale. I have things that I have created that are for sale through Hellebard Games and through Frog God Games. And I will link those to you if you guys want. August 3, hello. Mark Hyde, greetings. Does a law brain have hind legs like an intellect devourer? I think so. I think they're related, actually, Ronnie. They have poor eyesight, but very keen hearing. So that's kind of where, the umbrella does or does not cover is depending on your perspective. I'm talking about this because this affects every damn one of us. All right. We can make jokes about it and say, well, I'll just sit in my basement. By the way, I'm in a garage, not in a basement, and play my classic games and not give a hoot. Classic D&D will die with us if we take that attitude. I think that this, oh no, the crab, I'll get him back, is the best form of D&D ever. I think that this is boss. I think it kicks butt. If you love 4th edition more than this, that's fine. That's your D&D. I'm not here to edition war, but I think this is the best. I want this to continue on long after I'm sitting in my tomb in my jewel-encrusted robe with my crown and my scepter, daring adventurers to come into my trap-filled horror maze and try and take any of my classic D&D books. I want people to still be playing this because it's good. It's damn good. And there was shelter under the OGL for me to create for this. And WotC has taken that away. WotC has taken that away. The Viking Hat GM is here to edition war. He is the Viking Hat. I will not edition war, so he edition wars for me. Eventually, connect. Eventually. Who needs edition wars when we have company wars? Exactly. So that's what we do around here. I talk about classic D&D, but something as titanic. This is a tectonic shift. This is the welling up of the Appalachians. This is the collision of the subcontinent with Asia. Okay, but in real time. All right. This is the moon's initial brush with the Earth that gave us our spin and a satellite to make this planet habitable over billions of years. That's the level that we're talking about here. This is bigger than when WotC bought TSR, in my opinion. So I have to talk about it. I have to talk about it. So thank you, everyone. WOM, I guess you're back to Wave of Mutilation now. Yes, my subs are over 2,000. We were just talking about that a minute ago. I'm going to get the crab back because the crab is show staff. It like the org tree here is me, Kyle, and the crab, and that's like it. It comes down like that. So I gotta put him back up, or else you guys will be lost without him. So hang on a second. And the crab story, for those of you who haven't heard this, there is a classic D&D module. There's a classic D&D module. Oh, John, that's an interesting prospect there. The OGL could become a First Amendment issue. Yes, it could. There's a classic D&D module called White Plume Mountain. If you haven't played it, seek out a copy. Get yourself a copy, a PDF. A physical copy will probably be a little pricey, but get a copy. It is good funhouse dungeon ridiculousness, and I love it. I embrace it. It is one of my favorite modules of all time. There is a room where you fight a giant crab. The room is basically a thin bubble force field, and it is under hundreds of feet of a boiling hot lake. And if you use arrows or a spell like Fireball or Lightning Bolt, it'll pop the bubble, killing everyone instantly. So you have to just walk up and kind of stab it. I think the ceiling is low enough that you can't even wind up with a two-handed sword and strike the thing. I have run this for many people. And wow, 71 people in the chat. Welcome everybody. If you're new to the channel, please just say hi in the chat. I'm not used to having this much company over when I'm live. But anyway, I have enough Dwarven Forge to make the entirety of White Plume Mountain. I have built the inverted ziggurat out of styrofoam and plexiglass. What I did not have was a giant crab miniature. The closest thing to a giant crab miniature was Reaper's undead crab miniature, which is about the size of a 50-cent piece at its broadest, and it's got a big hole in a shell. You can see skeletons through. Very neat. Not what I needed. I didn't have a 3D printer at the time either. I have two of them now. Physicoo Gaming, greetings. So I cast around looking, trying to find a giant crab mini. Nobody had one. And then on Amazon, for the princely sum of $5, I got this little restaurant decoration, this little plastic soft shell crab. And there you have it. That is why there is a crab sitting on top of the monitors. Now you know. Now you know. Aren't you glad you asked? Juxtapose Joker, greetings. Thank you. I love to do it. I missed one. It's going so fast. I would have cleaned the place up. Father David, and in the crab encounter killed my. You know the one. Shout out to the father there. The crab encounter killed my whole party back in the day. Did he pinch them to death, or did they mess up and rip the bubble open? Elf Bait, greetings. Good to see you. And the subs are going up. Mark Hyde, you're a Beck Me kid from the 80s, 52 now. Began with a basic box set as a gift to encourage socializing. I love classic RPGs and the OSR movement, and we love you, Mark. I love all the people who've subscribed to the channel and love RPGs as much as I do. Okay? Now, some of you could be terrible people. I hope not. But honestly, if you're sticking around here and you're hyped and you're enthused, then that's good. That's good. We were stupid. So, speaking of community, guys, we have a Discord. It is linked in the description. Come and join us on the Discord, and you can get this kind of crap constantly. And speaking of crap you're going to be getting constantly, I hope you've watched our 2 Tales of Tabletop Triumph videos, because that's positivity. You might think that I'm just a disaster tourist, that I'm just one of those guys who's like, oh, Wizards is going to come in your house and kill the firstborn son of every family, blah, blah, blah. No. My jam is positivity, okay? My thing is positivity. You go on YouTube and you see they're fine channels, and I'm not criticizing the people who make them or their content, but there's so many good channels, but their content is stuff where they read Reddit posts and other things, and it's like, well, the time I tried to learn how to play D&D, but the DM hit me over the head with a tire iron. Long. Or all the players picked on me because I didn't know all the lore to Forgotten Realms, and I never want to play D&D again. Just TTRPG horror stories is what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm going a different route. They're going left. I'm going right, and that's what Tales of Tabletop Triumph are all about. Positive stories from you, from me, from everybody. So if you've got a tale like that, and you really want to tell it, and you really want it heard, hop onto our Discord, check out, we've got a tales section. That's just for me to post up the transcripts. Then we've got a submissions where you can attach a document or post it in little pieces. And then we've got a discussion where you can just kind of workshop stuff and ideas. Drew Wendell, greetings. Yeah, that cheap cardboard Thaco calculator that came in Dragon Magazine. Yep, the combat wheel. Getting tagged anytime somebody writes Black Razor. Thac10. Thaccio. So, yeah, come on and join us over on the Discord. If Discord is your jam. Otherwise, I'm on Twitter, _Dungeon Delver. You can reach me there. You can email me if you want to just reach out to me on email, bsylvie@gmail.com. And those are fun things. Unbreaded. Michael Connor. Unbreaded. Hail Lobster. Well, Hail Crab. But anyway, so I made this attempted hollow promise. I said it like a Canadian dungeon mister. Hollow. Sorry. Hollow promise to you guys once upon a time. And I said, if I ever got 10,000 subscriptions to my YouTube channel, I would make arrangements here in town. It can't be free, guys. I'm sorry, but it will be reasonable. At least I'll try and make it reasonable. and hold a little convention, a little tabletop gaming convention. I will try and do that. I will do everything I can to make that happen. And I thought, ha ha ha, I've got 1,200, 1,300 subs. That'll never happen. Ha ha ha. Well, it's climbing now. It's off the hook. Is that what the kids today say? It's off the hook. So it could happen. And if you guys want it to happen, tell your friends, tell your family. There's this crazy guy who looks like, what if Eddie Munson survived? Who preaches the good sermon about classic role-playing games. And if you like that, tell your friends, tell your family, and tell them to come on in and click that subscribe button. That's all my shilling for subscriptions. That's it. Kids don't use Off the Hook. They don't. How about Off the Hizzy? Do they use Off the Hizzy? Are things still on fleek? Maybe my wife can. Colleen, are things still on fleek? No, she can't hear me. So, D Rizzo wants to know, do I get a t-shirt? We'll make merch. We'll make merch. But speaking of conventions, this is regardless of what happens. This spring, probably in April, WotC 2 is happening. What is GWOC? Well, it's not just guacamole. Great underground online gaming convention, a virtual con where you can come and run games and play games. We'll even have a virtual artist alley with my buddy Tracy Lesh. And I'll try and find other classic D&D artists who want to come and hang out. It's based. Okay, it's based. GWOC 2. I look like a feral hobo, according to my buddy Luther. But GWOC 2 is in April. I haven't decided exactly precisely, but it will be a weekend in April. It won't be Easter weekend. I'm not going to mess up y'all's Easter egg hunts. So that is what all's happening. We have a nice number of viewers right now. And that's all. That's whether, I have 1 million subs, 1 billion subs, whatever. GWOC 2 is going to happen. By the way, there are people who are trying to hijack and pirate my YouTube channel. I don't know who these rogues and thieves are, but it's very subtle. If they are talking about GWOC and they say BillCon, report them to me and I will get Interpol to remove them from the scene. Okay, there is no BillCon. That doesn't exist. I think that's like a Chinese AI bot that's trying to harvest data. It's GWOC. It always has been GWOC. It always will be GWOC. GWOC. See, right there. And he's even red like a communist. Are you a communist, Dungeon Minister? Do you disavow? So that is, you guys are going to be heartbroken when literally nothing says BillCon. So anyway, that's what we've got going on now. I promised you guys we'd look at some Murphy's Rules. What is Murphy's Rules, you might ask? Well, I'm going to tell you what Murphy's Rules is. Murphy's Rules, back in the day, Steve Jackson Games, they've got the magazine back now. But for a long stretch, their in-house magazine, their Dragon and or their equivalent of Dragon and Dungeon was Space Gamer, Fantasy Gamer magazine. And they had a very funny series of columns in every issue. And they had cartoons that made fun of game rules and just humorous columns. And we've been kind of going through those. Uh-oh. Someone is banging on the door of the green room. And yes, that's right. But anyway, so we've been looking at 87 folks in chat. Welcome everyone. Welcome for checking it out. Or thank you for checking it out. But we've been looking at Murphy's Rules and some of the funny stuff therein. So we're going to take a look at some more Murphy's Rules tonight. And these are just spoofs. These are just silly things. It's kind of some of the content that we like to cover here. And by the way, in case you're curious, yes, super chats are open. Because I know somebody had asked me about that earlier today. Yes, you can do that if that's what you want to do. So let's share a little bit. Share screen, make sure that's okay. Got some PDFs over there. The only place you can mention it, does anyone remember Snarf Quest Anthology? Yes, there was a Snarf Quest Anthology released. I've held it in these hot little hands in B. Dalton's bookstore a jillion years ago. All right. So here we go. This is an example of the funny from Steve Jackson Games. Turtles, and more turtles. It's 3 feet long and loaded with armor. It can live for 300 years. You can barely see it move. It's the turtle. Now you can be this awesome war machine. You can crawl about, immune to all attack. You can retreat into your shell at the first sign of trouble. Game rules. 1, find a large box. 2, climb inside. 3, crawl about slowly. 4, if frightened, retreat into shell. Game design by Chris Zakes, Norman Banduck, J. David George, Chris Smith. Playtesting, J. David George. I can imagine the playtesting at Steve Jackson Games' office. Simple War Game. Oh, yes. We have the Simple War Game by Steve Jackson himself. Simple War Game by Steve Jackson. We have the board, a hex. The counter, of course, we have a counter. The combat results table, the CRT. Heads you win, tails you lose. Play sequence, pick up counter. That's 4.1. 4.2, place on board. 4.3, flip coin. Consult CRT, combat results table. Heads, you win, leave counter on board. Tails, you lose, remove counter from board. Coin not included, pennies will suffice, but half dollars or silver may be substituted for greater complexity and realism. Designer's notes. This game dates back to the Persians, who played a crude version in which the board was 13 feet across. The counter was made of stone and took 40 slaves to lift. As a result, play was slow. Modern gamers have speeded play, but have not modified the base futility of the system. So there you go. That's, again, some of the ha-ha. Mailer cover cartoons, and this one is about as funny as you might think. We got a little blamination for curse words. Slip disc again? No, tight boots. See, we used to have these things called floppy drives back in the day, kids, and they put a disc in, and anyway. Now this one's much better. I feel much better if I knew what all these balls were for. And of course, lurking in the back of the maze, Pac-Man. Mr. Cthulhu, this is your wake-up call. I think that's just I've seen enough hentai to know where that's going. This article, 10 characters I wouldn't let in my universe, is okay, but anyway, we'll take a look at it. It's very tongue-in-cheek. It's very nerd humor. Everyone who referees or plays a role-playing game, fantasy, science fiction, or what have you, has his own favorite non-player character. And, like as not, that NPC will be a truly outrageous specimen. Recently, a discussion of truly memorable NPCs bore strange fruit indeed. The 10 best or worst follow. We haven't given the specific characteristics for any particular game systems. After all, these are the characters we don't play. If you're brave enough to try them, working out the attributes for your system should be no problem. But don't say you weren't warned. Elvish Presley. This half-elven bard is distinguished by his guitar, pointed ears, and pot belly. High charisma, especially to the opposite sex, but not everyone likes his music. Daniel Boom, an outdoors type. This hardy soul loves loud noises. His favorite hobby is bear hunting with grenades. Note found carved on a shattered tree. Daniel Boom killed a bear somewhere in this general vicinity. The White Brothers, a pair of undead bicycle mechanics. Killed in a flying gadget they built themselves, they still roam the earth, driven by their mad ambition to fly. Somehow, anyhow, if you have the ability, magical or otherwise, to help them achieve their goal, they may befriend you. In addition to their undead powers, they are both expert mechanics. But if a party has, for instance, a ring of flying, and the Whites cannot bargain for it, they will try to take it. Third-party 5 ebooks in Michael Art Store. Hello, Black Barnes. Oh, thank you. I missed someone. Give you. Thank you, Michael. Captain Quirk seems like an excellent sort when you run into him in a bar on Anthrax 4. Clean-cut, upright, tough, and experienced. Hire him for your exploration trip and you'll be sorry. His hobby is exploring strange new worlds, to seek out new highs, new incivilities, to boldly smoke what no man has smoked before. Away from civilization, he goes wholly ape, sampling native vegetation left and right. There's a small possibility that he'll die, a medium possibility he'll get sick, and a medium possibility he'll discover a new drug, which he will then try to smuggle back home in your ship. His motto, space is warped. Me too. A bunch of these are just like not good. This one is good in its shortness. Sail bad the sinner. The name tells it all. Board a ship and there's no telling where you'll end up or when or in what state of debauchery. I think we've all run into that guy. Let's see. Ehrlich of Mendelbaum. This perverted albino wanders around with his mighty sword, Sturmbendrang. Under all circumstances, Ehrlich feels sorry for himself. He will wander endlessly and bore his companions with pitiful stories about the fall of Mendelbaum, the death of all of his family and friends, etc. His attributes are... He attributes all his misfortune to bad luck. When confronted with danger, Ehrlich will either draw Sturmbendrang, wind up and clip the man behind him, or call on some force too powerful for him to control in hopes it will do him a favor. Either way, there will soon be another disaster for him to add to his list of woes. And if you've read Michael Moorcock's work, the Elric of Melniboné saga, that is exactly what they're going after there. Greetings, Baron von Hedbangar. So let's see. Ulysses, a heroic wanderer and misplaced, i.e. lost king, renowned for his careful and cunning planning. He will usually be found waterlogged and unarmed, wandering in a labyrinth, carefully planning how he's going to get out. If the party which encounters him is attacked, Ulysses will cunningly plan his foe's defeat, even as they hack him to minestrone. Roll one die for every day. On a roll of 6, another immortal being has become furious with him and will make one attempt to obliterate him and the party. Whatever happens to anyone else, Ulysses will escape to continue his wandering. And they just kind of go on like that. Are there any other good ones? This one I think my co-host would like. So I'll read this one and then we'll move on and we'll try and find more funny. Conman the Barbarian, a big tough warrior covered with scars and bulging muscles. He will be found in a tavern talking about his adventures and having one for the road. It will soon become apparent that Conman is just itching to go after an immense treasure he knows of, guarded by some relatively trivial what? Monsters. If only I had a few stout shield brothers. Sigh. Parties that go with Conman will vanish. Conman himself will be back in the tavern in a week or so, telling how his friends were devoured by dragons and he himself barely escaped. However, their weapons and gear will turn up in the local pawn shop. The tavern keeper tolerates Conman, as he never seems to run out of drinking money. Kyle? Collecting Coups. Pretty sure there was a SnarfQuest book. That's right. It was released. There's a funny one. I said easy, Mr. Sulu, as the nacelles fly off into space. Useless tables. This can be kind of fun. I like the useless magic items. The pizza generation tables is about as funny as you might think, which is to say not. Outre magic items. Not all magic research pans out. I would add this to the Dungeon Master's Guide, by the way. Outre magic items. Not all magic research pans out. There will be a few magic items that do not work at all, have a function that is of no use to an adventurer, or perhaps cannot be activated. And roll 1d12. A Rod of Rulership with 100 charges, which will only work when submerged in the blood of Cthulhu. How did they find that out? Pyramid of chicken legs with an egg in the exact center. No known function. I rather like that one. That one might show up in Castle Greyhawk someday. Liquid-filled crystal sphere, always warm to the touch. I could see some minor uses for that. Silver arrow on a string will always point to the person holding the string. You add a couple of touches to that, like the person who picks it up is cursed to own it forever, and it makes it a lot of fun. Did you guys lose me? No, I'm right here. I'm still here. Can you guys hear me okay? I promise I'm here, Michael. I didn't go anywhere. I haven't lost connection. Okay. All right. Just making sure. Let's see. Gold ring that turns itself invisible when placed on a finger. Sword with a piece of wood in the handle and a cross etched on its blade. No magic of any kind. Mace of sharpness. Hey, those flanges, you can or spikes. Coin with the words yes and no on its two sides. When flipped and asks a question, it always lands on its edge. I love that. Don't know what you're talking about, Wave. It's all pops and clicks. Can't understand a thing. Scabbard of sword resistance. No sword can be sheathed in it. Lance of Quixote. Plus 10 against windmills. Minus 2 against any other target if a windmill is within 400 yards. Staff of ever changing. A stout oaken staff that turns itself to raw silk when used as a weapon. Ring of invulnerability. The ring can never be damaged. That is one of the properties of the One Ring, if you think about it. Brian, Cody, greetings. Caden, that's just fine. I'm glad to see you here. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad everyone's here. This is just a stone groove. So yeah, these are just fun little tables that they ran in Space Gamer and Fantasy Gamer. Hallucinogens in Car Wars. Roll 1d6 for each second of combat to see what isn't there. 1-1, Rabbit and Road. Choose a random D1 or greater maneuver to miss it. Tires fly off car. Treat as a D3 hazard to try and chase them down. And it just kind of goes on like that. The zombie reaction generator. Roll of D4. On a 1, blank stare. On a 2, fixed stare. On a 3, cold stare. And on a 4, emotionless stare. Table left unnamed at insistence of our attorneys. I think this is a little bit topical, even if the actual letters aren't. 1, terribly silly rules. 2, trademark symbol required. 3, they sue regularly. That was actually a thing. Their subscriptions revoked. Tough stuff, readers. Total staff resignation. Ouch. I wonder if that's the unnamed company that took exception to having their rules spit roasted, skewered in Space Gamer, Fantasy Gamer. Oh, this is a good one. This is relevant even today. I'm going to read a little bit of this. Yeah. If you say beer can and bacon with a Jamaican accent, they sound the same. Try it out. All right, from Space Gamer number 42, August of 1981. Designed for use with any fantasy role-playing game. Designed for D&D. Am I right? Is that not the way it is today? Not for too much longer. The Game Master will determine. Sorry, we couldn't think of a rule for this. In any reasonable manner. We couldn't think of a rule for that either. Optional rule. We didn't have time to playtest. Notes. This is the quickest way we could think to fill a blank page. Another one that's topical. Not a licensed D&D product. We couldn't afford the license. Megatrek 81. They'd never license us anyway. I don't get that one. The Ultimate Fantasy Game. Ultimate number 17, that is. Also relevant today. A new direction in wargaming. We're lost. Accurate simulation. Dull game. Fast moving. Trivial. Challenging. Figuring out the rules is a real challenge. Exciting, no play balance. Fascinating, nice map. Original, we cannibalized 64 earlier games just to get this one. 2 years in the making, 2 years in the bottom drawer. Suitable for beginners. No one else would want to play it. For ages 8 and up, for ages 8 to 10. For 2 to 4 players, for 2 or 4 players. Yeah, that in a lot of games, that's very true. Banana Quest Supplement 4. The game will be pretty complete when we get out Supplement 5. Third game of the Banana Quest series. Same game, third map. Second edition, prettier cover. Revised edition includes errata. Boxed edition, same game, $5 more expensive. Collector's edition, same game, $10 more expensive. No designer listed. No one wanted the blame. In a handy Ziploc bag. The printer screwed up 20,000 boxes. 2 complete games in one package. Neither was worth publishing separately. Now accepting orders. You get our game 2 days early. We get your money 2 months early. Except that's Kickstarter now, and that can be as many as 2 years. Or if you're the far west, 11. Monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, maybe next year. Nominated for Best Game of the Year. We stuffed the ballot box. 2 award nominations, and we didn't win either one. Winner of the Charles Roberts Award. The competition was even worse. And it continues. First edition, rough draft, completely revised and updated. Second draft, Wargame Tournament, D&D Tournament. Classic, a game remembered a year after it was written. Playability, a magical word of power invoked to avoid the necessity of research. Historically accurate, a magical word of power invoked to avoid the necessity of playtesting. Play by mail, a unique system of play enabling the player to completely forget the game between each move. Play by mail computer game, a system which utilizes a machine which can think in microseconds to transform an afternoon-long game into a year-long game. Original Collector's Edition. Never talk to me or my son again. Original Collector's Edition, a special reprint edition enabling a gamer to buy an unorganized, unplayable, ungrammatical, badly spelled, illiterate mess long after these problems have been fixed. You don't revise a classic. No, we're not going to fix the mistakes. Based on the famous book, the names on the counters are the same as those in the book. Not a cheap copy of Dungeons & Dragons. It's an expensive copy of Dungeons & Dragons. Over 100 monsters. Red dragon, white dragon, purple dragon, aquamarine dragon. Can be played as a single adventure or as an ongoing campaign. You can make up a new character for every time you play or use the same one over and over. 15 different character classes, including classes such as shoe signer, street sweeper, and accountant. If your local hobby shop doesn't carry it, send us his address so we can fill him in and add his name to our mailing list. You get to be our salesman. Send for our free catalog. Now you'll be getting junk mail from us every 10 days. Complete the survey and send it in. If you won't ask for the catalog, we'll get your address this way. Stop by the next Gen Con and see us at booth 999. We have a whole stack of catalogs waiting for you. They are going to get you those catalogs. The original Mice and Maces set, the rough drafts. If you win this contest, you will get a free 12-month subscription. And no matter who wins, we get to add several thousand names to our mailing list. Game of Exploration. More time will be spent searching through the rulebook than playing our game. Game of Diplomacy. More time will be spent convincing your friends that you're rule interpretations are correct than playing the game. And we continue on. We'll look at a couple more of these, and then I want to get on and see, catch up with any questions and comments you guys have got, and talk some more about what we do. Game of combat. More time will be spent arguing and fighting about unclear rules than playing the game. Like nothing any gamer has seen before. Not play tested. Soon to be released. Next year? Official errata. Second half of the rules. By popular demand. By our creditors' demand. Special offer. We couldn't give this one away. Extensive new tables. Expensive new tables. New name. Widely acclaimed. Widely advertised. Excessively blind tested. The playtesters were blind. Diceless combat resolution system. I'd rock, paper, scissors. Which, by the way, as I understand it, that's how they do it in Vampire LARP. So I never did that. Although you guys could ask Dungeon Minister. He's a Vampire LARPer, I think. Thoroughly researched. We looked it up in the encyclopedia. Well, why not? Fuchsia Cone, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you for subscribing, and I hope you have. I don't see everybody leaving. Maybe they're just getting mad because I'm not starting D&D yet. Hottest game on the market. Everyone is burning his copy. Level of complexity, easy, moderate. Level of complexity, moderate, hard. Level of complexity, hard. Too complicated to play even the basic game. Subscribers bonus. No one will buy them, so we're giving them to you. Create your own scenarios. We couldn't think of any ourselves. Flexible rule system. Will be interpreted differently by everyone who reads them. Perfect for solitaire play. If you're schizophrenic. Protective mailing cover. The only part of the magazine not mutilated by the post office. Also available for this game. Impossible to play the game without it. Coming soon. We've got a name. Now all we need are some rules. Unique method of resolving combat. No one else would use it. Play by mail. Wait by mail. Quick turnaround. Pony Express would have been quicker. You can't afford to miss this game. We can't afford to miss this sale. Limited time offer. Good only as long as orders keep coming in. Basic rule book. You'd better plan on buying our advanced rules too. So that is just a little bit of more of the fun, and we'll read some more. I don't know that I'm going to read Wargaming Widows by Martha Ladyman because I don't know if I can do justice to Miss Ladyman's piece. But if you guys want to hear it, you can let me know in the comments. You can hit us up over on Discord. Join us on the Discord and say, hey, I want you to read the Wargaming Widows article from the back of Space Gamer Fantasy Gamer, and I will do that. Fuchsia says, when I was 14 in like 1980, two buddies got me to play. Two buddies and me got invited to play D&D at Montgomery Wards to spark interest in the game. We sat in an aisle and played D&D for 5 or 6 hours. So fun. Fuchsia, that is freaking awesome. That is a tale of positivity that I like to. That is, oh my gosh, how cool that is. How cool is that? You talk about the FLGS, but nobody ever thinks of it being a department store. Good God, we have 101 people watching the stream. That is amazing. I'm going to take away that. Stop sharing. I'm sharing too much with you guys. There was a period of time between like 1980 to 82, 83-ish, before it became a really hot button controversial topic. Sears, Montgomery Ward, JCPenney, Kmart, all their big Christmas catalog and sales flyers featured role-playing games, and not just Dungeons and Dragons, although that was prominently. Sears pushed space opera big. FGU must have really had a nice in with Sears, because I remember seeing some of that at the Sears discount store, the Sears, clearance sales store. So yeah, the 80s, before the satanic, there was this period, like before the satanic panic, after the nonsense with poor James Dallas Egbert, D&D's had a few seasons of golden age. They really did. You can game anywhere. That's the beauty of it. We'd sit in the 24-hour Denny's every Saturday night for a little while. Well, Rogue Scholar, I hope you were polite to those folks who had to serve you. I really do. We are waiting on Doomsword at this point. Hopefully he will be joining us. We've got a few minutes before we start AD&D. So if you're new to the channel, whether you're driven here by the algorithm or you subscribed, you picked up on the video somehow. However, if you have a question for me, if you're like, yeah, how far can an elf throw a dwarf or something like that, just feel free to ask it. And if I don't catch it, Kyle will catch it for you. We've got about 5 or 6 minutes before we start our AD&D live stream, and there's so many new folks in the channel, and we are currently good Lord 2,118 subs on the channel, folks. That is phenomenal numbers, and I get choked up even thinking about that. Thank you so much. Do like the video. Yes. TK. When can us dwarfs be paladin wizard thieves? Never. Anyway, but yeah, no, I'm sorry, 2120. We have the 2120 subs now. You have a question? I let the players roll for damage. The players roll for their damage. Unless they specifically ask me to roll the damage, I let the players roll for damage. I let the players make their saving throws. What I don't let them make are like secret door checks and thief skill checks, but their own saving throws they can make. Collecting Chaos says you had to sub. I think AD&D was the best. Thank you, Mobius. Have a lovely evening. No, Luther, I don't think I do that, but keep that one in your DeviantArt folder, bud. We're up to 2124. So just literally just leaps and bounds, and this is almost embarrassing, but thank you guys. Keep spreading the word. There is channel lore. Yes, there is some channel lore. Brian Cody, hello, thank you. Literary cinematic origins of the Zorn. That may be kind of like the Owlbear, the gelatinous cube. That may just be a Gary thing, or a somebody at the table in Lake Geneva thing. I can honestly not because there's some stuff tucked off in remote corners of D&D that are like, okay, this was mentioned once on one page of a science fiction book Gary read. But that is the Zorn, I think, is just pure Gary. And to be certain, Gary thought up a lot of awesome stuff all himself. It's not all cribbed from books, right? Cheeseburger says Gorn from Star Trek, but that cheeseburger, or Gary was listening to avant-garde musician John Zorn and was like, oh, this could bore me into rocks. This would just bore me into a tunnel wall if I was listening to this anymore. That's right, Luther. The Chinese plastic toy was a rust monster, and the boule, as I am told it is called, the boule was was one of the same Chinosaurs in the same package, and up till the mid 2000s, you could still buy those, but the company stopped making them, and now a plastic boule is hundreds of dollars. I have one sitting around here on the shelf somewhere. And an original Chinosaur Owlbear is very expensive. Also, it is boule, not bulette. It is Boule. The Zorn were cylindrical, barrel-like creatures. They were trilateral symmetry. 3 arms, 3 legs, eyes between each arm, and a mouth on top. And they looked like barrels. They ate precious metals and gemstones. They were neutral, highly intelligent, could phase through rock or just cut through it, and had a ferocious bite. And they would basically, they were bossy, but they weren't evil, and they would demand any good smelling metal you had. And if you hacked at them with your sword, they could potentially bite your sword and break it. So the Zvart, Drew, okay, so the Zvart comes from Fiend Folio, but there are some TSR US critters in the, why don't we look it up? We have a Fiend Folio. Right here. And don't worry, we are going to play first edition AD&D. I think Doomsword has just entered, but we're going to answer this question. We're going to look up the Zvart. The Zvart, spelled with an X. Zvart and Zvorn. A fellow, or perhaps a fellet, named Cricky Hitchcock created the Zvart and sent it in to White Dwarf Magazine. Back when White Dwarf Magazine was a game magazine and not a monthly catalog of buy this stuff sent out by Games Workshop. So there is your origin of the Zvart. We have all of our players in the house. We are ready to play some first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. We play typically for 2 hours, so get your popcorn, get your snacks, put your feet up, and get ready to play. As I introduce our players, Baron Von Headbanger as our resident paladin, Cork. Greetings, Baron. Mark, playing Abner the Magic User. Abner Kadabra, he appears. TK421, why aren't you at your post? As Sir Outlier, the Dwarven Fighter Cleric.
Because I'm here.
Because you're there. You are at your post. That's right. And last but not least, the man with the plan, Doomsword Deathmaster, as Turgo. Greetings.
What's up?
All right. So, gentlemen, when we last left off, you had seen to the resurrection of poor Clara, a street urchin whom you had met in the rundown, semi-abandoned warehouse quarter of the city of Greyhawk. She had given you information about a sump beneath what was rumored to be the old Beggar Masters Guild, and therein treasure that had once belonged to the Beggar Master himself, Theobald, who was, as stories say it, slain when the Beggars Guild engaged in a bit of overreach and trod on the feet of the Assassins Guild and the Thieves Guild of Greyhawk, and were in a single night of darkness and blood wiped out, almost to a man. But it is apparent that Theobald did not make good his escape, for you found his body and the treasure in the sump beneath the old Beggar Master's quarters. No simple fishing expedition this, for as soon as you disturbed the treasure, the reanimate revenant of the Beggar Master rose and demanded his loot from the alley cat. Putting paid to the apparition, You made your way back out on the streets, and you found the forlorn form of poor Clara, the urchin who had led you there, slain by bandits and robbed. But not being entirely stone-hearted, Sir Outlier bore her to his temple, where he was owed mighty favors, and she had life restored to her, and thus you earned her friendship and loyalty forever, and she follows you now as your party's personal tailor. Gentlemen, what will you?
Well, y'all have made noises about making me go back down into that god-awful sewer. I have agreed to one run. My husband was fine with sewers. I'm not. You get one run. Otherwise, I'm going back to the nice, clean castle of craziness.
That's fair. The sewer doesn't suit me well either. Clothes will get all messed up.
There might be a fair amount of treasure therein, however.
I'll go.
Yep. I'm in, but I'll need to buy some new clothes.
Also,
Whatever. Hopefully, there's enough cash to make sure that's possible.
To clarify for the group, I'm no longer packing town spells, I'm packing dungeon spells. We can also assume that in the 4 hours of rest that we had before resting last night, anybody that needed healing would have gotten, and I would have had 2 healing spells. So does anybody want me to burn one of those retroactively, since it would be the next day?
I could actually use one. I got kind of messed up in there a bit.
Alright, so, because it'll be a D8 for you and a D8 for me. And those rolls were bad. Well, congratulations, you get 1 hit point and I get 2. Apparently my god really doesn't like us being in sewers.
Did we want to go back right the next day?
It didn't really seem to me like there was the type of thing that made this time critical, if you will.
I'm only 3 shy of max, so for me, I don't care.
Well, I do have the potion that Abner was so kind to give to me. I could take that.
We can also, if we want to sit out in the afternoon, I can, I've got 4 healing spells, right? So I burn those, I rest for 4 hours, and I'm ready to go again.
Your wisdom is supreme, priest.
That is why I am here. So is that the plan? Will you sit out in the afternoon?
Yeah, after
Sure.
Okay, now here's hoping I don't roll straight ones. DM, do you care if I?
Go right ahead.
Okay. 2 hit points back for me. This isn't going well. 6 hit points back for Turgo. 6 hit points back for Turgo.
I'm good now. Thank you.
Okay, I've got 1 spare. Anybody want it?
You don't need it. I could use it, or cork.
I don't know what happened to me last week.
It's a sewer gas. It's confusing.
Who wants it?
I'll take it.
4.
So close. Yeah, good enough.
Otherwise, I will do my resting for 4 hours and recover my first level spells. And otherwise, just so everybody is aware, I guess, so the meta fans or whatever are aware, I typically prep Bless, Cure Light, Hold Person, Silence, and Glyph of Warding. Do we want me to prep something other than Glyph of Warding for my 3rd, though?
Do you have something more defensive or offensive?
I mean, Glyph of Warding is pretty good, but could do Prayer, could do the inverse of Bestow of Remove Curse if no, because Bestow Curse is a higher level spell in this edition. Create Food, no. Continual Light could blind someone. Otherwise, the Paladin doesn't like Speak with Dead, so that's out. Feign Death would only work to make Abner more useless. And Dispel Magic So I'm personally leaning towards Cliff of Hoarding.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. So what are y'all going to do for 4 hours while I go and talk shop with the gem merchant?
Abner starts talking with Clara about plans for making clothes, making the most fabulous clothes you can get. What materials she'll need, etc.
Now I'm doing nefarious stuff.
What nefarious things are you getting up to in the city of Greyhawk? Or I should say, is Turgo getting up to in the city of Greyhawk, Doomsword?
Those are generally behind closed doors.
I see.
Nothing specific.
No.
Are we playing a game of Pants the Paladin?
Okay, so you have coins and you have gems. How are you disposing of the coins and gems?
Speaking of the coins and gems, Bill,
Yes.
I don't think you ever told us in the second level of this house there was a hidden plank with a bag of coins. You never told us what that was.
It was not much. It looks like whoever left the coins stashed away in the niche probably regarded them as little worth carrying. You had you had 24 electrum shoved into a bag, and underneath that are actually is actually one real gold piece.
Next question, getting to what you asked us. Does this bank, the Greyhawk Bank, like have safety deposit box? Like we could just say, here's a bag, keep it for us.
That is essentially how everyone's money is kept at the Bank of Greyhawk.
Okay, wasn't sure. Then I suggest we do that to the group. I suggest we do that to these gems, and then we'll get them appraised later.
Yeah, we'll liquidate them and the gold. Keep that gold all separate.
No, I didn't say liquidate. I just said store. Later, Turgo can go to our gemsmith guy and do it.
Yes.
Yeah, an outlier will accompany me as usual.
Mm-hmm.
But we can do that after our next. Yeah.
I'm prepping for death, boys.
I mean, you should. There's a reason I put a drag. There's a reason I put a drag rig on your harness.
Well, indeed.
So, does this sound like a plan? While Outlier is getting his spells up, Abner will take the found gems and gold, etc., just in a bag. Take it off, with Cork helping guard him. Take it to the bank. Put it in the party fund account, and just leave it there. We'll deal with it when we get back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what we do, Mr. DM.
Never mind.
Okay, so you're not selling the gems, you're just storing the gems. Okay.
We're storing everything we've gotten so far. We haven't split it up yet, etc.
Okay. That is good to know, and I, your DM, appreciate that little bit of information. Let me know when you're ready to take those gems to a lapidary and sell them. While that's going on, Turgo, you're out doing nefarious deeds, yes?
Yes, keeping in mind, of course, that I have a 4-hour time frame in which to do them.
Of course, of course. Alrighty. While you are waiting for your companions, any particular section of the city you're sticking to? Are you going back to the warehouse district where the beggarmaster's quarters were? Are you staying in the trading district, the temple district? What specifically?
Yeah, so in terms of the warehouse district, I meant to ask you if that was anywhere near the wharves. I know that tends to be the case sometimes.
Yeah,
I hadn't asked.
It is perhaps a few hundred Well, not even that much. Perhaps 200 yards away from the riverbank there.
Yeah. I kind of had a mind to go to the wharves, and incidentally, I'll just sort of pass through there, doing whatever it is that I normally do, looking for food and that sort of thing. If there's merchants on the street, and then move through there into the warehouse district and spend a few moments scoping that out during the afternoon, since we had only been there at night.
Okay. All right. So the only thing of note you see, and there, oh, thank you, Ashton. Greetings. Good to see you. I hope you enjoy it. The only thing you see of note as you approach the wars, there is an debarkation point for folk who are going to make their way into the city, as well as cargo offloading points. Stepping off of a Rene barge, you see a obviously cleric dressed for traveling. He is wearing a symbol of Tritheron around his neck, and he has a couple of porters bearing goods for him, and he makes the sign of Tritherion to you and says, greetings, brother.
Greetings, fair priest. What blessings from Tritherion do you bring to me today? And well met.
Ah, you are a follower of Tritherion, are you?
Let's say everybody's a follower of Tritherion sometimes.
Okay. He kind of raises a skeptical eyebrow to you, and hang on one second. Yes,
Someone had groovy music going. It was awesome.
Yeah. Gotta be careful though. If it's too groovy, Susan will say copyright strike. So yes, sausage toes. See, I have the best audience. Tritherion is right there, the god of individuality, liberty, retribution, and self-defense. His holy symbol is the rune of pursuit, a triskelion. That's still very good on the keyboard there. He says, he kind of raises a skeptical eyebrow and looks around. There's plenty of witnesses. He's just making sure you estimate and say, well, if you wish the three blessings of Tritheron upon you, I suppose, if you'd like to kneel and take them.
Certainly.
All
One
right.
can never be too sure or too safe.
Oh. Okay. He waits until you do. He touches your forehead and then each shoulder in the three-position method of a priest of Tritheron, mumbles a blessing, lowercase b. This sprinkles a little bit of holy water on you and says, you may go in peace, my son, unless you have anything else you'd like to ask of me.
I would like to ask, I do intend to make a donation, of course. If you have a moment, I would like to ask, whereabouts are you from?
Well, I am late of Relmord. I have journeyed many, many miles to reach the city of Hawks. There is a large church of my population here, my congregation here, and I wish to discuss something with the canonist there.
Indeed. Thank you for the information. Does the Church of Tritherion here welcome visitors in those events that those visitors' ideas align, and ideologies, of course, with the church itself?
We welcome those who seek to join the faith and stand as a stalwart defender of it, or those who simply seek the path of Tritheron and, of course, want to live by its tenets.
Thank you, Minister. Well met. Now I'm going to reach into my pouch and take out 5 gold pieces and offer it to him, a pittance to the church.
Okay, he again, gives you the 3 blessings and says, "Go and be well, always on guard for yourself and for those whom you care."
Thank you.
Okay, so you move on about your way, and that was in the first hour. So question, just I don't want to get too focused on one player. What is Cork doing, Baron, at this time?
Doing the same thing I do when I always have a layover. I'll be at the bar drinking.
Ah, yes. A paladin whose hymn book includes the Beer Barrel Polka.
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you at one of the more famous inns in Greyhawk, or are you just finding a watering hole somewhere?
Just a watering hole.
Okay. Okay, you sit there, and your first hour is fairly uneventful. Mark, is Abner getting measured for clothes, or was he accompanying Outlier?
He, after dealing with the bank, he probably went back to get measured for clothes from the new tailor we have, Clara.
Okay. All right, well, we'll just have a quick gander as you make your way there. And I know, TK, you are currently going to the bank to deposit the funds there. Where did you sequester Clara at, please?
I have put Clara in care of Abner. So Abner is so I have basically introduced her to his manservant, stroke lackey, stroke whatever you want to call him. What is his name?
Stewart.
Stewart. That's right, the steward. So she is with him, as well as the other men-at-arms, kind of getting a lowdown on the usual MO of the group, which will basically involve her traveling with us and then hanging out in a longhouse for a week.
All right, fair enough.
And we'd be staying at the Green Dragon Inn.
At the Green Dragon. Okay, fair enough. So you make your way back to the Green Dragon. The only thing you see of note along the way, you pass some tradesmen who are somehow less dirty and disgusting than you are.
Abner is jealous of their cleanliness.
Yes, I mean, they're covered with like mortar and dirt and plaster dust and paint and everything else,
but not sewage.
Yeah, everyone is giving you there's even beggars that see you coming and turn and go the other way. Abner,
this could be useful.
How have we all not bathed if it had been the next day? I know I would have.
Well, Abner, would you? You didn't specify, so
I would have. But...
Okay.
All right. You know what you do? You bathe and then you put all the sewage back on.
Yes, because it's my best clothes.
So, well, you could have gone for your more seer adventuring equipment. The ones that just have 4,000 sequins.
Yes. I'll make a new line of
fashion, by the way. I'm sorry.
Dungeon clothes.
Dungeon wear.
Yes.
Dungeroos. No. Gene Wilder wrote a rather extensive letter about his costuming in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and it concludes with arguably one of the greatest lines ever committed to paper. To match the shoes with a belt, was it to match the shoes with a belt is fey, to match the hat with the shoes is divine, or something like that. But it was an awesome little line. So yeah, you're in your more sedate dungeon wear that could only be spotted from a league up by someone in a magic carpet on a cloudy day. Let's see. But nothing untowards happens again. You see the laborers, people are just kind of going about their business. Meanwhile, Turgo, you pass a group of pilgrims. This lot is a little different. They are younger men and women. They all seem to be wearing scarlet-colored clothes. If it wasn't for the holy books and the prayers they're mumbling, you probably wouldn't have figured them for pilgrims. But they don't exactly look like the, dust-covered travelers that you might expect.
All right. I assume I'm pretty close to them. I'll approach that group as well.
Okay. All right.
I'll cow down, reduce my stature a bit, and lower my shoulders as I approach, to appear to be a little more pathetic than I am.
Okay. At the head of the group of pilgrims is a woman. As I said, red traveling robes. However, she, looks like she's kept herself fairly clean. She has black polish on her nails and bright, not like clownishly bright, but like blood red vampy lipstick on, and she kind of regards you as you approach. And
Hello, mistress.
She's wearing a very plain chain. You can see it's probably just of a plated nature, but it is festooned with small pieces of jewelry that have worked in pentagrams and warding circles in its designs.
All right, I'll lower my head a bit, and I'll approach even closer and raise out my hand. Alms for the poor.
She curls a lip and says, "Get thee to a poorhouse or to a church."
I'll lift up my face to regard her and say, it was merely jest.
Of course. Brothers, sisters, come along.
It's going to be that way, is it? I shall have to report this to the City Watch. And I'll move along.
She narrows her eyes and says, "The other way that it could be is that you leave this encounter holding your tongue and on human feet."
Yes, I suppose. Well, we'll see about that later, won't we? Yeah, I'm out of there.
Okay, yeah.
I hasten away, but not obviously.
Yeah, whatever her whatever her order was, you guess probably it's something something magical.
I'm not leaving because you want me to. I'm leaving because I want to.
Absolutely. You don't force my feet, whatever. You're just boring.
Collecting Chaos says she sounds like a member of the Scarlet Crusade. Well, so meandering further around the city, you encounter some tradesmen. A couple of noblemen accompanied by a bodyguard large enough that, well, I'll leave it up to you as to whether or not you want to approach them. But yeah, you see nobleman and probably his wife walking along, and there is a not inconsiderable amount of armed men with them.
Yeah, I'm not messing with that. I'll watch them proceed along their way, you know.
All right. Meanwhile, back at the tavern, Abner, Clara is you have gotten back to the quarters at the Green Dragon, and Clara is measuring very well. Yon Paladin. Did you guys ever have anyone in your group that insisted that it was Paladin?
Yeah.
It's not. It's not.
Yeah.
Some tradesmen come in to drink. Unless you wish to interact with them, they won't bother you.
Never run into that.
No, I don't. I'm keeping to myself.
All right. All right, and nothing else of note happens. You all meet back at the tavern at the appointed time. Clara has gotten your measurements there, Abner. What do you all wish to do now that you have met up?
I guess we go back to that location.
Yep, we are all back into the, what do we want to call it? Cistern?
Sure. Every dungeon here has a cistern, it seems.
Every dungeon is a cistern.
Yeah.
This one is kind of spiraled, so you know it's a twisted cistern.
You know,
Yeah.
I guess all of Bill's dungeons have cisterns.
They're one of my favorite dungeon features. I have this Dwarven Forge for it. I'm going to use it.
Yep. First thing he puts down, cistern.
It's a great starting place.
Unless you're
Yeah, it really is. Especially when you're climbing out for dear life.
being chased by ogres.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or worse.
So we go back to this system, that one there.
We go
Oh,
back
right.
to the closest cistern.
It is the next day. We'll roll up just to see. Nothing untoward happens to you as you approach the warehouse district where the Beggar Masters Guild was. What do you wish to do?
Should we just go directly around the back door instead of going all the way through this building again?
Yeah, why not? I'm not
Probably.
going first, though. Somebody else can wade through the detritus.
So we're going to go find the back door because, if I remember correctly, the entrance to the sewer was outside the building behind its back.
Alrighty. Takes you about 10 minutes. You know, you have to meander around, but eventually you do find what you think pretty much is the back of this building.
Well, there's a secret door right there.
All right.
Otherwise, we have somebody else's house.
You're around, you're like, it must be here somewhere, but you can't locate it.
I'll search, being a half elf, you know.
All right.
It's that scene in The Princess Bride when we're trying to poke the right knot on the tree.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. You managed to find the seam there, Turgo, and You work your fingernails in, and it swings outward.
So at least we know.
You
this
first,
thing.
wizard?
Yes, let's go. I don't want to be first
But-
down the whole one.
Oh, well.
Well,
I'll go.
I have not seen such bravery.
I just want to get going. It's got nothing to do with bravery.
I'll follow you.
all right, I'll be third.
All right, so we do have a little terrain for this, folks. For those of you who are curious, is he going to do a virtual map? Is he going to put a dungeon map up on the screen? Where's the stuff? As much as I can, because I can't predict where the players are going to go from time to time, we like to put out some Dwarven Forge. So I have a little bit of that set up from the last time they were here. Let me just step around the table, and I will get that set up, and you guys can take a look at it.
Doomsword, I'm assuming Turtle brought Darwash along, right?
Yes. Yeah. Unless otherwise stated, I assume he's always coming. I ain't going nowhere without that guy.
Yeah, we've left Burn and Rufus, I mean Leo and Nerm behind.
Leo, Nerm,
And
Hilda, my bodyguard, is left
Yeah.
behind. You have a dog, or you left it behind because we can't.
I'm leaving. Yeah, I'm not bringing my dog no sewer. I respect him too much for that. Y'all can go. My dog can stay. Besides, navigating that ladder for a dog, I'll pass.
You have to teach it that trick.
Actually, my cousin had a German. Actually, had he's dead now. A German Shepherd that could climb ladders.
Now, folks, I'm hoping this is going to show up nicely on camera. It should. I just accidentally stuck a light right in the camera angle there. That's a little bit better. So let's see if this will come up, and I will adjust if not. So let's see. Where is the tabletop? There we go. Oh, that's lovely.
Excellent.
All right. So standing in the middle, of course, is our redoubtable thief. We have to, if we consider him the middle of the clock, at the 10 o'clock position is Abner. At the 7 o'clock position is the aforementioned hired man at arms, Darawesh. That would be our paladin at the 2 o'clock position, Cork. Sorry, I don't want to make you think that I had forgotten your name. And at the 4 o'clock position, then of course we have Turgo, and that is where you find yourselves there in the dungeon.
I'll take your word for it.
The dungeon sewers.
Yeah, fantastic.
Also, for those of you that are new, that's not a slight at Bill. I'm just blind.
No, we completely understand.
No, well, we, as in like you guys do. They might not.
So Turgo,
Yes.
charge.
All right. An estimable mapper of wizardry. Which directions have we already been?
None.
To the left, correct?
No. We've been here. We fought the thing, which is probably still right there.
That's right.
Are
It
the
appears
remains
I've
of the
gotten
body
ahead
still
of
right
myself.
there? Yes.
Well, you know my motto, I keep to the right.
Then pick a direction. Let's go.
All right. Assuming a compass rose like north, straight ahead type of view, I'll follow that right wall and through the northeastern passageway, poking my head through. Of course, the idea is for everybody to have torchlight and for me to make it as far as I can to get out of the range of their torchlight.
Of course. Moving along that wall, and again, this is one of those times, folks, when I, don't necessarily have enough terrain. But if we need an improvised battle space, I think this appropriately sewerish looking room will do. But the only thing of note that you see as you move out of the radius of light, which sounds like it could be a Genesis album title, couldn't it? The Radius of Light. Anyway, there is a pile of a fall of trash. It's your typical sewer. There's a runnel of water and then sort of a bit of a ledge to the left and to the right. The sewage is to the left, or rather the fall is to the left, and it kind of slops down into the water. And at its closest, you'll be about a foot away.
So I have a question. Are these cockroaches like, New York cockroaches, or are these a little more reasonable?
Damnation Alley cockroaches.
Yeah.
You'll see.
So does this look like, looking at this, does it seem to be similarly worked as the rest of the area that I'm leaving? Or does this look like it drops down into the actual sewer system proper?
The answer to both questions is yes. Where you came to was part of the sewer systems proper.
Right.
And
okay, so the walls look the same and all that, and it's just going deeper into the sewer that I've already been in, basically.
Right. This is just more of that.
Okay, thank you.
Yellow, gray bricks with the occasional daub of red here or there, mortar, niter built up in places, rusted grates, the occasional chain hanging down from some opening well above you, and the constant drip, drip, drip of water.
Right. Okay. And I'm standing in a foot or two of water, say up to my knees, shin, something like that.
Not here on the side.
Okay.
You are out of the water on the sides. If you step down in the middle, you'll do that.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and continue on. I do want to pay particular attention to my footing, so as not to slip, and move very slowly through here.
Okay. All right. You continue to move down. When is the rest of the party following?
After he's, 40, 50 feet ahead.
Yeah.
Also, sausage toes, we're in a sewer. The question is, what ventilation? There are no standards of code here. It doesn't exist. We're probably going to pass out from gas.
Don't give Bill any ideas.
I'm just a historian here. Sorry.
So after Turgo gets probably about 50, 60 feet away from us outside, so we can well past our torchlight.
Yep.
We're following carefully behind him.
Is this wide enough for us to walk in double file, or are we in single?
No, you're going to be going single file.
I didn't know if these were like full fantasy sewers where they're like, 10-foot court or whatever.
Well, I mean, the gallery itself is 10 feet across, but the narrow ledges that go on either side, the platforms, no, they only jut out about 2 feet. So you're going to be walking single file.
Cork, are you going second, or do you want me second?
I'll go second. It's fine.
All right, I got a pole arm, so I'll use that in these rather tight corridors.
Is Darwish taking up the rear?
Whatever you guys order him to do, I didn't make any particular plans for him.
Somebody has to guard Abner's bacon in case we can jump from behind.
Yeah. I'll keep it
Right.
behind me.
All right, let's go.
Alrighty. So you move along. There is a occasional shaft of light from somewhere up above, but it is not bright enough to disturb your infravision. You continue moving down the hall. Thank you, Tony. It is a lovely book collection. I quite like it. Turgo, you are passing the pile of a fall. As you move past it, you are horrified as it erupts out in many, many, many tiny maggot-like things, perhaps 2 inches long and about as big around a finger.
And here I thought we'd have a Gil Gotham to deal with.
And they essentially spend their... I'm sorry, Turgo has a dex of 16?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, they basically spend their surprise round. They're now surrounding your feet and starting to creep up on your boots. And there are, let's see,
82. So, if Turgo dies and we resurrect him, or we raise dead him, would that also, like, with the rock grubs in him, do you think he'd just immediately die again?
yes.
Well, that's less fun.
In a case like that, yes. Well, after a while. Anyway, so there's only like 7 of these things, but it's still kind of disgusting. They spend their surprise round coming towards you. Yeah, you know what these are rot grubs. What will Turgo do?
I suppose I'll apply my oil of etherealness and hopefully get it done before they burrow into my heart and kill me. And then sit around for 8 rounds while whatever.
That's one way to waste an oil of etherealness.
is better than dying. I ain't gonna make another system shock.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. Well, you guys are about 30 feet away, and you see Turgo kind of stop, and you hear like shuffling feet. I don't know if Turgo says anything.
Oh, I'll certainly scream out if I can do that and apply my oil. You know, rock grubs.
Darawesh yells, someone get him a torch, quickly!
I was just going to prep oil.
Okay, roll initiative if you would, please, there, Mr. Mr. Doomsword.
Fire is your friend until you set the wizard on fire.
Okay, you may act first. Are you really and truly spending the round applying your oil of etherealness?
I don't see that I have much of a choice.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not going to hack all these guys off, and I'm not going to burn myself to death, so whatever.
Okay. What is the rest of the party doing? 30 feet in front of you, you see Turgo. He stops. He kind of stomps his feet a little bit and then yells, "Rot grubs!"
I'm throwing oil. Somebody else can light it.
Okay.
Why was
Party
that?
First, go ahead. The oil is not lit, but we still need to make a hit roll. So please throw it.
What's up, Abner?
Abner was going to run forward to apply fire like we've done before.
Okay.
We don't need to engulf all of him.
No. Yeah, I'm not looking to engulf him. I'm looking to engulf the rock grubs. I'm counting that I won't miss.
I am counting on the fact that he will be engulfed in flames when I could probably just apply this. But anyways, you were doing that, do it, and we'll figure it out. And Abner's running forward. You're lobbing oil at him. This will end poorly.
Well, 16 as a 4th level fighter, 5th level cleric, plus my +2 from Dex. So that's
Thank you.
yeah, that's 18. So 18 total, and I'm going to go ahead and presume that hits.
Okay. Yeah. So you hear a crash as what you presume is a flask or jar lands at your feet, and you feel like you've been splattered with oil. You see a torch approaching.
Hey, you'll be ethereal. You'll be fine.
This round.
He'll be in the ethereal plane on fire. It's better.
Hey, as long as it's not magic fire, I don't think it can hurt him.
Okay. So you're furiously applying oil, and then there's more oil applied to you. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe it'll spread quicker.
Yeah, right. It's just your
You're
feet.
about to find out how flammable oil of etherealness is or is not. All right, so you're spending this round prepping a torch, Abner, and trying to move forward.
I had the torch in my hand. It's
Oh, you
all I
have
can
the
see.
torch. So you're spending this round. You're spending this round moving forward.
Running up. Grabbing my robes, running up as quick as I can.
One hand robe, one hand torch.
Yes, exactly.
Chaos wants to know if that's damage before or after the methane of the sewer ignites. It's not that bad.
Almost, not quite.
Right.
Somebody opens a sewer grate, we're all dead.
Mm-hmm.
Right. How about Cork? What's he doing?
I'm just gonna see what happens.
A paladin.
Thanks, Paladin.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna move up there, but there's so much going on that I think if I do anything else, I don't want to add to the chaos. I am lawful after all.
If anything does burrow into him, doesn't like a remove disease or something like kill it?
I'll have to look up rock grubs, but that may be the case.
I thought so, but I wasn't waiting to find out.
Yeah.
We're now on to the rock grub's turn, and there's 5 of them. What is your armor class, please, Mr. Thief?
Well, fortunately, that's much improved. Hang on a second. Much improved as I look for it. 3. Thank you.
An armor class 3, so one of them might have gotten you, and let's see. Because it does take a while for the oil to
Of course it does.
few segments. Sorry, it just does.
Yeah, but once I go ethereal,
You never go back.
see you, guy.
But what if you got one of the rock grubs in the oil so it came with
Well, don't give him any ideas, okay?
Okay, that's
So now I'm in the ethereal plane with an ethereal rock glove. It eats my soul.
Well,
The potion is very fresh, Dr. Octagon. Trust me. Extremely fresh.
I guess here's the real question. Since the oil was applied to you and not the rock grub, you should be the only one turning ethereal.
Exactly.
That's my hope.
I was making light of this.
Okay.
No, you're making a light of the situation.
Yes.
You feel like a painful shooting sensation in one of your feet. You think one of the rock grubs has started to burrow in. That concludes the round. Turgo fades from view. He was eaten by a Vorpal rot grub. Turgo fades from your view. Turgo, you are essentially looking at the scene. Things are kind of indistinct and gray and much the same as they were. I get to roll ethereal on the ethereal random encounter table while you're doing it.
Of course.
Type 4 demon. Type 4 demon.
Get Yankai, whatever.
Let's go.
It's basically from beyond. You can now see the things that are always watching us.
Oh,
Or like
yeah.
Damien says, maybe it's the fly. I'll become unethereal and start puking in my hands.
Brundle Turgo.
That's like a normal Friday night anyway, isn't it?
Pretty much. Last time he went out with
Azador.
his hireling, man.
The paladin's going first from now on, period. I'm done with this.
Also, can you burn them now, please, wizard?
Yeah. I'm just waiting my turn.
Okay. Well, let's roll initiative. The rock grubs are crawling around in front of you where Turgo is now no longer. Let's roll initiative.
Thank
Oh.
God.
I rolled a 3.
You rolled a 3. Having no meal nearby, the rock grubs begin. They basically spend this round kind of scooching towards you. What do you wish to do?
I still apply the torch to the oil that's here, and it
Okay.
hopefully will catch some of them.
Soaked rock grubs.
The rock grubs crisp and die.
Success, except we have lost Turgo.
Well, that's not my fault.
Yes, not technically. Abner witnessed him applying something to his person, then disappeared. Abner knows he has oil of etherealness.
Mm-hmm.
Abner will thus assume that is what must have happened, because he does not think rock grubs can consume a body that fast.
I'm positive they can't consume a body that fast.
So now we just have to wait here. I'm not waiting here. At the very best, I will wait back in the main room.
I am going to push the paladin forward a bit, if only to make sure to just convince myself that he didn't like walk into a teleportation trap or something and disappear that way. So if it's okay with you, you'll feel like a nice firm hand on your back, just pushing you where he was.
Okay, that's fine.
There's a little X stand there.
Yeah.
It's always rock grubs.
Yes.
Well,
I don't know about this.
Lord Corion's not here.
What just happened?
So how about that rock grub in your foot?
You don't. When you become ethereal, the gnawing pain stops.
Okay.
Because you forgot to.
And so, from the ethereal plane, like I can see everything that's going on around here and whatnot.
Yes, you can see everything that's going on around you. You know that you can essentially move through objects. Let's see. And you estimate, given the quick cover you gave to yourself, you might have an hour or so of etherealness.
Right. A long time. Well, seeing that I became gaseous before, gaseous form. I become gaseous regularly, right? But gaseous form, I traveled around that place a while ago, and you guys waited for me for like an hour or whatever, hopefully. And I have oil of etherealness. I assume I'll just go ahead and scout out the place as best I can.
Just like find a pile of poop or something and with your finger write, "I'm here, wait an hour."
Why's it got to be poop?
Well,
it's about the
it's
only
always
thing
got
you've
to be poop, man.
How about gold coins? I trace it. I trace my name in the pile of gold coins I find.
Abner sort of looks up, assuming he assumes the ethereal plane is up. Turgo, if you can hear us, we'll be back there.
Yes, I'm in heaven.
And I guess
They told me the paladin's not coming.
I'll walk back with the wizard grumbling something about how now I have to stand in the sewer for an hour.
Yep. I can only hope that Turgo is smart enough to use his time wisely to scout out the places he wanted to scout out.
I'm going to check that southeastern pathway while we wait.
Are you going to pre-douse yourself in oil in case?
No, but I will. But I will. Have a thing of oil in my hand, just
You
in
can
case
just
I need to
apply
douse
torch.
someone.
Never mind. Continue.
Yeah. The torch is nice. There's only one problem with it. I can't kill like all of the rock grubs with the torch, can I?
Probably not.
Bigger area of effect with the oil, I would think.
Well, I should point that there's no rot grubs that you currently see.
Well, no, that's more so a legitimate question. In the case of rock grubs, does like a pint of oil kill more than say a torch would?
Oh yes, without a doubt.
Okay, then my theory, I'm fine with it, and I'll still hold a pint of oil in one hand and look down the corridor and see what I can find. I do have stoneworking, etc. So if anything, if there's going to be a secret door, I've got a shot.
All right.
Chance for secret doors, yada yada yada. Sloping passages.
No secret doors, however. No sloping passages either.
Do I have to mention the new construction?
This is all. What would the term be? This is all homogeneous. No new work has been done in here in decades, possibly longer.
Does the southeastern exit look the same as the northeastern?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Turgo, go for it. We can't split the DM's time, so go for it.
I'll continue to explore around, make my way as far as I can, and that sort of thing.
Okay.
See if the passageway that I had taken that had the rock grubs in it leads around and meets back, or if it kind of looks like it goes on forever or something like that. And if it looks like that, I'll come back to the main room and make my way through there while trying to warn my compatriots that I am the apparition in the room with them.
All right. So you move down, and this is just, a standard sewer gallery. There's a couple of places where it's kind of sunk so low that you would have to duck your head. And a couple of times you do find yourself like, oh, I need to duck under that beam. And then you realize, no, I can just walk through that beam. You see something perhaps 20 feet. It's hard to judge, being ethereal ahead of you. It looks like a large rooster, but with almost peacock feather-like tail dragging behind it.
All right, and I haven't branched off of this passageway. I've just been going straight along it this whole time.
That is correct.
Okay. And what have I consumed? 10, 20 minutes?
Oh, yeah. Only 10 minutes. Only a single turn. The strange bird-like, rooster-like thing turns and faces you, and it lets out a horrible squawking sound that sort of echoes through the strange shifting planes of ethereal energy surrounding you. You recognize it as a cockatrice.
Right. Does it appear to regard me directly, or is it the type of thing that is just acting like a chicken?
No, it sees you.
Of course it does.
Isn't that like one of the interesting properties of cockatrice is that their beak or whatever, their stone affects ethereal as well?
Potentially can. There goes my monetization. Uh-oh. Hey, Patty. Good to see you.
What?
I got something in my eye.
I was about to say, wait a second, it wasn't my fault this time. What? Like, hello?
All right.
You guys are bound and determined to kill me. You just don't like that I'm the highest level.
Hey, you're doing a good enough job on your own. We don't have to help.
Yeah, because I go first. Wait till you see the next character. He always goes in the back.
That's
Don't
where the
play
rock folks will be.
Most likely.
So it's about 20 feet away from you, Turgo. What do you wish to do? You can go in literally any direction.
Yeah. I'm turning around and leaving.
Okay, let's roll initiative.
Man. Hey, sweet. I got a 1.
Okay. Let's see. It squawks and sort of scratches at the ethereal ground, but it does not appear to approach you.
All right.
Away from it if you wish.
Yeah, I'm leaving. I'm not going to coax this thing.
Okay.
Don't tease
All
the
right.
cockatrice.
Yeah. Yeah, my intent is to make my way back down the hallway into the main room, and if the etherealness hasn't worn off, then I would take the northwest passage out of there.
Okay. So you're gonna explore for another turn in that direction?
Yeah, in the northwest direction, correct.
All right. In the northwest direction, you immediately come to a much smaller junction. This would barely be big enough for your party to stand comfortably in together. It's maybe 8 feet in diameter, and this junction branches off in 5 different directions like a hand, with the arm going back up the tunnel that you came up.
Okay, right. I'll take the rightmost direction, whether that be thumb or pinky finger.
That would be the thumb from your perspective.
Okay.
Okay, you come to a rather interesting section of hallway. There are rooms or galleries to the left and right that appear, well, they don't appear to. They have doors on them. This is a broader gallery. 2 men could probably walk abreast through here without bumping shoulders. So it's about 7 or 8 feet wide. You have 3 more turns of etherealness.
Okay. Well, I'll back out of here and take the next finger, which would be to my west or left or whatever.
Your index finger.
Right. Thank you.
This narrows down to an almost completely niter and dung and an otherwise clogged passageway. There is a thin trickle of water coming out from under this horrible sloppy mess, but you can see at the top it looks like it does continue past there, and you are still ethereal. So
All right, I'd like to not take that any farther. My plan is to basically get the first few feet out of each of these fingers.
Okay.
And so that I have something to inform the party on.
Alrighty. So going up the middle finger, I just up. You guys can't see. Going up the middle finger.
I've been going up the middle finger all night.
You have. Uh, Nothing leaps out of the ether at you, but
Okay, well that's good.
shortly down this hallway there is a grating, but you can see through it both ethereally and with your own natural eyesight. Beyond that is a huge, broad gallery of rapidly moving water. You think this may be near where the sewer would drain into the river. You have one more turn of etherealness left. And those of you, I should have been checking. While Turgo's gone, nothing untowards happens to you. You're going up the ring finger now?
Yeah, and that just briefly, that other one, I didn't detect any sunlight or whatever filtering in from outside. It was just flowing faster. Okay. Yes, I'd like to go up the ring finger.
Okay. This one appears to be very similarly appointed to the previous one, although the bars, it now appears that they're a gate of some kind, and this one is very slightly ajar. Same echoing, rushing sound of water.
Okay. I think that's enough of that. I'm going to make it back to the common room.
Okay. The etherealness fades away, and you kind of, realize you were maybe, a half an inch off the ground. So you jar slightly as you come back in contact with the ground, and you may return to the party as you like.
All right. Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Okay.
Carefully. I don't want them shooting me or throwing oil at me, lighting me on fire, magic missile, none of that stuff.
Nothing like that. So there's Turgo. He is back, and he is whole.
Oh, it is good to see you back. What have you found?
It is good to be back. Foul rock grubs again. I had no choice but to use my oil.
Very clever. Very clever.
Thank you, Abner. Thankfully I had it, and thankfully you parted with it to allow me to have it.
Did you find anything interesting in your travels?
There's a lot going on. Okay. Straight along this passageway past the rock grubs, there's a cockatrice. He didn't seem to be too happy. Okay. And he looked a little bit hungry. I didn't get a glimpse of any treasure or anything therein. I left as quickly as possible. It seemed as if he could see me. Farther along on the left side, I ran into a passageway that resembled an outstretched hand. One way is as good as another there, as far as I'm concerned. But what would be the ring finger was very narrow and tight. A gallery of sorts. Farther along, it looks like it dumps out into the sewer. There are two galleries there, I believe. One is wider, and one is narrower.
So it sounds like you didn't find much of interest.
Unless you consider a cockatrice of interest.
The feathers are worth something, but
Well, it may have treasure.
I doubt it.
I've heard that they guard a fearsome horde at times.
Cork, what do you
We're adventurers, right?
Yeah.
I already devised the plan. I had time to think this up, right? Because what else was I going to do? I figured we send Cork in. Okay,
Well,
flanked by Outlier. I'll provide cover with my bow. And Abner will provide the spells and the fire.
so, to be clear, we're going to spend our one opportunity in the sewer killing a magical chicken.
If
It
that's
doesn't
what
look
you
like a
want to
thieves
do.
hide. That doesn't look like a thieves hideout to me.
But I don't know what was beyond. The other options are we can go into galleries that have doors on either side. We can open them up, see if there's stuff in there, or
There's
we can
doors?
just ride the shite waterfall to outside.
Why
Well-
not there be doors in a sewer?
Yeah, what did
I have no
you
idea.
mean by gallery then?
Gallery in this case are just, it's just like a long rectangular room.
So no series of doors along it.
No.
Okay.
Openings. Apologies.
Oh, okay. I thought you
Catch all
actually,
words I just like to throw out there so I can sound smart.
thought you actually meant doors. Which was
We capture the cockatrice. We get some hens. I mean, you've seen the price of eggs lately, right? We can make a fortune.
Well, if we went through the entire convoluted process, we could just start making our own. I think like a bullfrog has to sit on a hen's egg. And there's a whole thing for it.
We first make a homunculus.
That's there.
I mean, can we go like a different?
Yeah, we have 3 other
Direction?
options.
Yeah,
2 other options.
it didn't seem like there was a whole lot exciting that way.
Let's pick another. Let's pick another.
Unless you
one.
just wanna go-
Except unless you think that a chicken that can turn you into stone is exciting, but I
Well,
guess not.
It doesn't do much for me, but I'm not
I think
one
it
to
ruffled your
choke the
feathers.
chicken anyway.
Shall we pick another passage then? Or should
That's
we?
my
Well, we
vote.
have the 2 behind us.
That's
Yeah.
my vote.
Let's pick
This-
that one down.
But the southeast one was the one I checked out, and it just went straight the same as the other one, right?
Right.
DM said I didn't see anything.
About southeast, so let's go southwest.
All right.
We form up and go southwest. Is Turbo
Alright.
taking point?
Yeah, of course I am.
All right. Paladin, do you still want to be second?
That's fine.
All right. I'll still have my pole arm and be third.
All right, and you want Darwish bringing up the rear, correct?
Correct.
All right.
And pretty soon I'm sending Darwesh first. I'll just give him some extra money or whatever. Darwesh, there's a chicken up there. It's just a big chicken. You know?
No.
Ignore the green.
All right, so you are proceeding. I'm sorry, you're proceeding up the corridor towards the cockatrice, yes?
No.
No,
Southwest. Southwest out of the
The
system.
one directly diagonal of the black cape guy there. Not the black shiny cape guy there, but the other one by the wizard.
Southwest one.
yeah.
West. All right. All right, you proceed down the corridor. Down the sewer tunnel, I should say. It's a sloppy, stinking mire. It's a horrible, dark mess. There's sewage dripping everywhere. You proceed. You walk for what feels like perhaps half an hour,
Oh,
just slogging up this tunnel. Finally, you come to a cross intersection, and you can actually see yourselves coming up to it. There is a shaft of light, just some very pale, dim light coming from somewhere up above, and it is shining down on a large puddle in the middle of an intersection of tunnels.
another sister.
How much walking area is around that puddle?
It's not a cistern, it's just an intersection of tunnels.
How many tunnels?
It's a 4-way intersection, but it's not round and it's not a cistern. Cheeseburger says, guys are in my basement, so beware of Cheeseburger. All right, so what y'all gonna do?
This place is an actual maze.
Yeah.
Mhm. Let's
So-
go right. Why not?
Or
All
go
right.
back and go get a warm dinner in the back.
Yeah, get out of the sewer. I mean, if we're gonna go back, we may as well just go and kill a cockatrice and then leave, because at least then that me spending the past hour and a half of my life wading through feces is actually going to be worth something, though.
I agree. I mean, I think we found a creature of significance here. It would obviously take masterful tactical capabilities to destroy it. Would that we had such a thing. Otherwise, I mean, why are we here?
So
We're here because some idiot thief decided that there was going to be a secret bandit hideout down here, and that we need to hide all of the money and not sell it or use it ever.
Hey, your friend, that whatever that lady's name was, I don't even remember now, and it's probably not even her real name anyway. Is the one who led us into this death trap. And so far, it seems like I'm the only one who's come close to dying. You guys look mighty fine and fresh and clean and all that.
Gentlemen, what's the plan? Are we going back and getting some dinner now, or are we going to get the cockatrice?
Well, let's go and turn the cockatrice.
Kill the cockatrice.
Okay.
That's what sword arms are for, right?
I suggest that when we get to the cockatrice, I can use a web to keep it restrained. Could summon some monsters behind it to harry it while everyone else takes care of it.
You can't melee attack anything in a web.
Yeah?
You can light it up, though, like you tried to do with me.
For 2d4 damage.
That's right. KFC, Kentucky
They
Fried
have names?
Cockatrice.
I believe you fighter types have invented missile weapons.
I mean, can you sleep it?
No. Well, I could try.
You can try.
I have a bow.
We'll start with that then. See
Yeah,
if that works.
start with sleep. Why not? I've seen you sleep an ogre.
So we trudge back and then
All right.
go up to the cockatrice and say hi.
Okay, you
That's ill-advised.
Yeah.
and wrapping around there is, and you notice now that there are several lumps that you thought may be rocks or pile of dung or whatever. They're rats. They're
Okay.
they're rats, and one very, very, very startled-looking goblin whelp. The cockatrice regards you and clucks mournfully. Sort of backs up and hisses at you a little bit. What y'all gonna do?
Plug it full of arrows.
The plan was I was going to cast sleep and try to get that cockatrice put to
Yep.
sleep.
Okay.
I'm a fire from the right back flank.
Okay. Darwesh says, one of these days I've got to teach myself how to use a bow.
Yep.
Or one of those fancy crossbows, perhaps.
No, they're not worth it.
All right. It does not. It's basically it's a big chicken with lizard wings and a long peacock-like tail. So it's easy, guys. Slowly start to raise your weapons, but it doesn't seem to do anything. So if you wish to basically treat this as a surprise segment for missile fire, you may do so. And then we're going to roll initiative.
And then can I cast sleep at this time?
Yes, you may cast sleep at this time.
So missile
second?
fire first, then sleep. Right?
Yes, that is correct. That is the order we will go with.
Yep.
And that would be first missile fire, correct? Or both, or missile fire, sleep, missile fire, or just one missile fire?
For purpose of surprise, it is one volley of missiles, and then it is pissed.
All right, I missed.
Okay.
I fire my arrow, and it does not strike true. Black arrow, you had never failed me.
You shouldn't have used that one then.
Until
Yeah,
the
it's in the trash.
it's black.
So 14 total, which is AC 4
Let me
plus 1 for close range. If AD&D does that, I think, because that would be within close range.
You do not receive a range bonus, but you do not receive a range penalty. So
Cool.
you're not suffering under any malice.
Hey, we got
There
those.
it is.
Do we got those javelins with us?
Yeah, we do. They're still in my bag. Still haven't sold them yet.
That 14 will hit.
Okay.
So roll your damage.
3.
Okay. Your arrow thuds into it. It regards it, blocks, and charges with a capital C at you.
Bring it.
Sleep?
Sleep. Let's see. I need to double check something about the old sleep spell. Sleep is that thing that you wish the cockatrice would do, but it does not.
Crap.
What? And it charges straight at the dwarf.
AC 1.
AC 1. It gains a +2 to hit by charging with a capital C at you, and just kind of lands in the midst of you and does not connect, which is probably to everyone's benefit. Actually, let me double check that.
This is like the compliment
One.
sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Gets that bonus for charge. Roll save versus paralysis there, good buddy.
Do I roll above a 5? Yes, I do. I'm fine.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of, I feel a little stiff for a second there as it slaps at you with its tail. It is. It actually does damage you. It's very, very hard. It's almost like being struck by a small flail, and you take 1 point of damage.
Okie dokie. I broke a nail.
All right, so that was basically its round, so you guys can dogpile on it if you wish.
Let's do it.
Yep, time to wail on it.
Let's fall in love. Otyugs do it. Cockatrice do it. Even the Dungeon Explorers do it. Let's do it.
Not these particular dungeon explorers at this particular time, though.
I'm going. So, do we want to? Well, we've declared our actions, I guess. Do we?
Yep.
Want
Yes.
Initiative?
Well, no, it charged, so you
Okay.
guys can
Oh,
just
we
attack.
get. All right, cool.
Okay.
This is the new round. It charged in.
So I
And
can
that's
switch,
most likely a miss.
so I can switch from my bow and hit it with my sword then.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. It takes 16 points of damage.
Wow, it really does not like that. You slice one of its wings almost off and cut deep into its body. It is now screeching and balking and kicking and trying to flail you. Did the paladin miss?
Yeah, I'm sure a 9's not a hit. So.
Did Turgo miss?
I'll have to do the same thing. I'll drop my bow, and can I draw both of my weapons and attack it? Do I have enough time to do that? The longsword and the dagger.
Absolutely. You can instabulate it.
All right, well, I'm
Roll
going to
live
attempt
kick.
that. Both of those should be hits. I got a 20 and a 17, and they both hit negative.
Oh,
Easy.
good lord, yes. Yes.
That was my best roll ever, at least during this. All right, let's see what we got here. That's a 11 and 6, so 17 points of damage from the two weapons.
Okay, you slice the cockatrice neatly. Well, not very neatly, actually. You hack the cockatrice into two half cockatrices that are now lying bloody and spattered out on the sewer floor. I will point out to Abner that cockatrice parts are useful for all kinds of alchemical and magical purposes.
Yes, he will collect some.
Can we just take the whole
After noting, wow, this was a bit anticlimactic. As he starts harvesting the cockatrices.
Well done, Outlier. We love it when you make things anticlimactic.
Okay, so the cockatrice is no more.
I mean, it is what happens when you give somebody with gauntlets and ogre power a +4 sword. My minimum damage is 10.
In truth.
Now I want to go search for some treasure while I pick up this cockatrice and.
Absolutely. I still think we should just throw the whole thing in a sack.
Will the whole thing fit in a sack?
DM, will the whole thing fit in a sack?
Will the whole thing fit in a sack? Yeah, no, it's like the size of like a turkey. Like think of a big
sack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shove.
Flop. And we show up to the alchemist later. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
I want to keep some of the feathers. The feathers are useful for.
You boy, what day is it?
It's Christmas Day, sir.
Yeah. Do I with my dwarvenness?
I mean, the fight is. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say with my dwarvenness, do I notice any secret compartments or?
Well, let's see.
Hidden loose stones or shiny things, or can I like twist off the goblin stone head and turn it into a sock puppet?
Not a sock puppet. I mean, it's now a rock that you can certainly do that if you want.
Hi guys, okay. My name's Corbett.
Approaching the goblin, you do see that the whelp. There is something shoved behind it in a rotting bag.
Sure, why not? Let's have a look.
Okay, there is the bag, like I said, has largely rotted. It appears to be a pile of a few hundred coins. Some are obviously gold. Some are kind of a silverish tint. You're not sure if they're silver or electrum or platinum. It's a little hard to tell down here.
Here you go, Turgo, for your etherealness trouble.
No problem. I'll take a look at them. I don't know why they're covered in filth. That's probably why you handed them to me.
Oh, geez, I don't know why they're covered in filth. I have no clue as I gesture it.
Well, why don't you find something useful in here?
That's more money than we've made in the past 2 hours.
Indeed.
So you figure there's about maybe this is not an inconsiderable amount. Now that you can see, this was a rather large sack. You think maybe the goblin whelp was trying to drag it along when it encountered this thing some time ago, and you guesstimate there may be as much as 1,000 coins here. So that's 100 pounds.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
this is a little heavy for me, my friend.
Okay, I'll carry it.
This will be a nice addition to the party collective coffers.
Indeed.
Yes.
Now do we want to turn around and head back? Or do we want to explore the hand?
I'll leave that up to my companions. Are the sword arms up to the challenge? Or no? It seemed like this was much ado about nothing.
Let's explore the hand.
We're down here. Might as well.
Let's go tame a shrew.
Okay.
This might be all in the Midsummer Night's Dream.
It might be.
You are proceeding up the thumb, yes, straight away first.
Yes.
Who's first?
That's you.
Yeah, I'll go.
That's me. Yeah. So let's do that since we already scoped it out. If that's cool with you guys, and I'll flank Outlier like we used to do back in the old day.
Yeah, why
Because
not?
I forget you have infravision.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Rob Adams with a super there. Thank you, Rob. Sad day for Mom. Wing Nuggets was firstborn. Thank you for the super, Rob. Okay, so you are proceeding up the thumb, as it were. Nothing untowards comes to jump out at you, and eventually it does end in a deadfall. Lying under the edge of the deadfall of stone and sand and whatnot, you can see a partially crushed skeleton.
All right.
Sword, thank you for the super. Appreciate that.
Check his pocket.
Who wants to look at that? Me?
I can, you can, we both can.
Yeah, let's both do it.
We all scream for loot cream? I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'll side my bow and pull out my expandable 10-foot pole for prodding.
I'll use my bill.
Yeah, I imagine we've explored this type of thing before, so we'll just kind of both poke it at the same time, try to turn it over.
Okay. The only thing of note, there's a the skeleton is fairly crushed. There's tattered remains of cloth that may have been clothes. There's also in one of the skeletal hands, there is an iron spike with cloth wrapped around it, like it might have been wielded as a crude weapon, and a waterlogged torch lying next to the other hand. But otherwise, nothing of note here, just glancing at it and poking at it with your 10-foot pole.
What do you think?
Next room.
The deadfall goes all the way to the ceiling, all the way to the top, or is it?
You think so, yeah.
I'm not going to spend an hour digging it out, so. Next room.
No, I was just thinking climbing up there, but if it goes all the way up.
I mean, if it looks like it's worth a climb, I can probably climb it pretty easily. I'll have a look if you like.
That's up to you.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and scale that deadfall and make sure it's a fair point. Make sure there's no open spaces above it or anything like that.
Had a save or die trap. He didn't save.
Okay, so give me a climb surfaces check there, if you would, please, Doomsword.
All right, certainly. It's a 94, so.
All right.
Yeah, I got a 33.
Okay, yeah. You can feel the rubble of the deadfall shifting precipitously under your feet as you climb up. There is a gap, maybe high enough for you to absolutely belly crawl through, like spelunking crawl through, and more tunnel beyond that.
I'm not so high up that they won't be able to hear me if I like whisper back or whatever.
That is correct.
I'll be damned, Cork. You were right. There's a space, barely thick enough for a half elf to pass through.
So you're saying
What do we do?
So you're saying I won't fit?
Unlikely. Perhaps, though, you can move this entire mountain of rubble.
Do I look like a dwarven team of sappers to you?
You look like a guy with gauntlets of ogre power.
That's fine. Do we have a shovel?
A shovel?
Well, I could
We
use
have a
your
wizard.
bed.
He
I thought
does not
wizards
have
could
a
do
shovel.
this. I didn't expect the wizard to have a shovel. I expected the
cast
wizard to
shovel.
have a spell.
I could summon some creatures that might help us dig out the hole, but perhaps you wish to explore to see what's beyond the hole, see if it's worth it.
I knew that was coming.
Good luck. Godspeed.
I can squeeze through, but please stay here, okay?
I would not. If you don't wish to, in your estimation, think that it's worthwhile, I'm fine with that. I'm not making you. Let's put it that way.
Do you have a torch?
Of course I do. I can't see without it.
Never
All right.
leave home without it.
Would you mind handing it to me? Maybe I'll
I'll
shine
give
it
you
back
my-
in there a little bit and see
Here.
if.
You now have a torch.
All right, I'll grab that torch and shine it into that hole, and see if I can see any farther than my infravision might have given me.
Okay. So peering in, you've got the standard illumination. It's interesting because you can see stalactites hanging down. The regular arched stonework of the sewer, or brickwork, I should say, of the sewer, and the occasional support beam and so on and that sort of thing, seems to come to an end and give way to a natural cavern of some kind.
All right, I'll take the torch back, bring it back, toss it to the ground. There is a grotto beyond.
Were there any
Are
exits?
the rocks or whatever that I'm laying on, I'm assuming, are those like looser? Do they seem like they could easily kind of be moved out of the way to open this up, or is this just like a stonework, like thin passageway that I would have to squeeze through? Is it related to the rock wall or rock fall or not?
It's just a gap in the rubble.
Right.
Could probably make it bigger by shifting stuff. You think?
Yeah, I can do that with my hands. Do you think?
Yeah, you can start shifting some stuff.
Yeah, I'll start tossing some rocks down up here to try to make the hole bigger. I think I can make it bigger. Perhaps we can fit through, if that's what you'd like to do.
I'll grab a shovel. Well, as in, I'll grab my shield and use it as a shovel and dig from the other side.
If anyone would like to reach for my hand, I can drag you to the top.
Here, I'll go up there.
All right.
Abner will do the natural thing for Abner.
And start
which is
digging.
to supervise.
Delegate wisely.
Yeah.
No, that one goes there. That one goes there.
Okay. Doomstorm, give me a saving throw versus death, please.
Alrighty.
It's always a good thing to hear from the DM.
Let's see, which die do I choose? Does it really matter? I'm going to choose this yellow one. That looks like appropriate levels of biohazard.
The casual save reject.
Ooh. Does that make it?
What'd you roll? Tell me.
Yeah, it sure does make it. I made a 13.
Okay. The giant pile. You can actually hear this outlier.
Mm-hmm.
Start to hear a rumble, and the whole thing shifts. Turgo, you have one segment to move. Where are you going?
How high was I up?
You're about 9 feet off the floor.
Yeah, I'm just going to jump over to the left or whatever and land on the ground.
Okay.
Grab and pull him.
No, you can't. He's 9 feet off the floor, and your arms at best are 5 feet off the floor.
Oh, look at this hop digging. Okay.
Okay. So Turgo, you jump away, and this entire thing just collapses. The rest of you are far enough back that you do not get caught in it, but there is a deep, echoing rumble around you as it collapses. When the dust settles, which there's not much because it's very damp here, but when it begins to settle, you can see before you, as Turgo had mentioned, there's a grotto. Although much of it was smashed by the falling rubble, there are what appear to be stoneworking tools here. There's perhaps the crushed remains of a wheelbarrow there, shovel blades with broken handles over here, some boxes and whatnot, neatly stacked pile of bricks. Thank you for stopping by, Jorge. I appreciate it.
I guess they were expanding the sewer when it gave way.
It could be.
Seems such.
Okay.
Now, as you're standing there, I mean, your torchlight is almost enough. You can just sort of make out the back wall of this cave, but not completely.
You said there was some stalactites coming down from the ceiling.
Yes.
Abner's eyeing those pretty cautiously. Don't forget what we did before.
You have not moved precipitously closer to Abner.
Maybe you could poke them, see if they'll come down.
I'll certainly poke them. I'm not having a repeat.
Yes,
Lob
you've
an
also
arrow or three.
They do not budge, nor does the ceiling around them budge.
okay. Shall we? Abner will step forward a little bit to shine his light a little bit deeper into this new grotto.
I'll lean off to the side.
Okay.
Do we see anything?
Like I said, the back is still in shadows. It's just a little bit out of your torchlight. There are the various bits and supplies there.
Sorry, we moved up to see.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, you moved up. The back is naturally, well, you think it's naturally curved. It doesn't look like axes and picks have been set at it. At man chest height, there is an opening perhaps 9 inches high and 2 or 3 feet wide that appears to go directly back into the stone.
You want to reach your arm in there? Go noodling for pain?
No, but I can stick a torch in there and light up that little area and see what is in there.
Yep, that's a good idea. Please do that.
Yeah, first I'm going to detect
Please.
evil in that direction and see if anything screams back at me.
Yes, there is a hint of evil coming from there. It goes perhaps 7 or 8 feet, and then you can see what appears to be an opening beyond. You're not sure if it's just a larger cyst, if it drops down and there's an actual cave, or what. Now, I should point out that this opening looks like it has been slowly carved open, like through the rock.
Like something ate through it?
No, like it was worked.
Okay.
And how
I would
It's a
immediately
touch of
go
evil.
that.
Yeah,
That
outlier.
mesmerizes slowly.
At first, you're like, hey, they started chiseling this out.
how big is it again?
Not very.
It is about 9 inches high and 2.5 to 3 feet wide.
We can't fit
Oh.
through that. So.
How deep is it, though?
Deep in the sense of how far back does it go?
Yes. How many feet?
About maybe 8 or 9 feet.
So we would have to tunnel at least a 2-3 foot wide hole, about 2-3 feet high. So we'd have another 300 almost cubic feet of rock to get rid of.
An unarmored person might fit through the hole up there.
Grease me up. I'm going in.
All right,
What
Paladins,
about a
you're
dragon, Abner? A pseudo dragon, so to speak.
I could let Crow poke his head in there. What was the? Could you just tell me what sort of evil you detected, Mr. Paladin?
Yeah, that's a good. I mean, he said a hint of evil. A hint of evil.
A hint.
Yeah, just not. It doesn't feel like there's an evil entity on the other side. Like, aha, yes, there's a knoll sitting over there with a butterfly net and a filleting knife. There's just sort of a miasma, a permeation of evil there, if you will.
There's a sip.
I will have Crow carefully go through and see what is on the other side.
Okay, so Crow goes through, and for those of you who are not aware, our resident magic user has a familiar, a pseudo dragon. Very good rolls on the Find Familiar spell, I should point out, named Crow. Crow zips through, and your connection to Crow, it becomes indistinct.
Oh, that's not
Strained.
good.
You can. It's like when you don't have the, sort of a bit of aphasia when you look around quickly and your field of vision doesn't register that you're looking at new stuff. It's still showing you old stuff. Sort of, jerky motion as he looks around, and if his flight patterns are anything to go by, he's not focusing on any one thing very well.
I try to get him to come back. Just tell him to come back.
Okay. A full turn passes, and you hear a scrabbling sound in the passage.
Crow, come back. Come back.
All right, thief.
Okay. Crow is Crow. Eventually, his little carmine-colored head pokes out. He has many dings and scratches in his scales. They've drawn blood, and he does not fly to you. He is trembling and clinging to the wall and crawling down. You have never seen Crow behave like this before.
I do the best I can to comfort him and say we should get out of here.
You want me to heal him?
Yes.
Is he visible?
Yes, he has a chameleon-like power. He's not totally invisible.
Yeah, it's very hard to see him. Like when he's on the floor and Abner's picking him up, you're like, where the hell is the...
8 hit points back to Crow.
Okay. The scratches and wounds all do close up. He coils around you to the point that you're afraid he's going to pierce your skin with his claws if he doesn't strangle you first around your neck, Abner.
Yeah. I just pet him and stroke him and say, it's okay, Crow, it's okay. And,
What's he say, wizard?
Something attacked him. He did not get good. There was no good vision of what it was that was there, but it was bad. I say we leave this be.
I say we kill it.
What do you say? Hold the phone. What if you say we put a pin in this and come back when our caster can, I don't know, soften earth and stone, melt rock, whatever it is y'all can do. The useful magic.
We can come back later.
All right.
Sound like a plan?
Sure.
Yeah.
Better than me squeezing down there.
I mean, the evil's not going anywhere, right?
I would suspect not. No.
All right, let's turn around and go home.
Well, as far as putting a pin in it and coming back later, that is exactly what we're going to do next week, folks, when these Doty adventurers continue their exploration and poking around in places they oughtn't in the city of Greyhawk, or perhaps even on to Castle Greyhawk itself. Folks, if you just stopped by, you've kind of gotten pushed here by the YouTube algorithm, whatever, please click that subscribe button, click the bell icon for notifications, leave us a thumbs up if you like it. You can support the show in many different ways that the Crab has been pointing to down there. I'd like to thank, first of all, we had a huge audience tonight. I have never seen 110 people on our live stream, but gosh darn it, you guys were there, and it was fantastic. And I had a great team of role players tonight. Thank you, One Mad Apple, for the sub. Thank you, everyone who watched tonight. Chris Sims, it was awesome. And we do this every Tuesday. We play first edition AD&D, and it's not just entertainment, it's educational. Maybe like your first D&D, you might have started with third edition or late second edition, or maybe even fourth edition, and you don't really know what AD&D or OD&D are all about. That's what we do here. So if you have a question, if you're like, hey, how does that work? Because I don't really know. You can ask it in the chats. We like to inform as well as entertain. So we're going to go ahead and leave it off there. Listen, God bless you all. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. It has been an absolute blast. Thank you to my players. Thank you to Kyle, who was kind of my on-the-spot producer. So with that, I think we will say goodnight. There will be a video forthcoming from me later this week, AD&D related. We are live streaming tomorrow night. Kyle will be in the driver's seat. Lord knows what's going to happen then. But Kyle will be here, kind of the MC, the master of ceremonies. Thursday night, we'll be back with some more fun stuff, some more looks at classic role-playing games. And Friday night, more of that on the front half, but then on half, you get more live play because we'll be playing Gamma World. So, gentlemen, it has been an absolute blast having you here. Audience, it has been a ton of fun having you guys here. And
push the button, Frank.
Everyone, please keep being awesome and be good to each other. Be good to each other. So we will see everyone later. And I'm just going to do this. Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around. Some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle way off course? Naked as a toad all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me